What happens when a seasoned television host decides she's done playing along? What happens when polished answers, rehearsed smiles, and carefully engineered narratives collide with something far more dangerous, real questions? It starts quietly. Too quietly. The kind of quiet that doesn't feel peaceful, it feels loaded. Studio lights hum overhead, casting a soft but unforgiving glow across the polished floor of Studio 6A. The air conditioning is just a little too cold, the kind that seeps into your skin and makes everything feel sharper, more alert. Crew members move quickly, efficiently, headsets buzzing, shoes whispering against the floor. Everything is routine. Everything is controlled. But beneath that routine, something is off. At center stage, Tamron sits poised in her chair, one leg crossed over the other, a stack of neatly arranged notes resting lightly in her hands. Her posture is relaxed, but her eyes are focused. Calculating. Watching. The kind of gaze that doesn't just see, it studies. Across from her sits Meghan. Perfectly composed. Her cream-colored blazer is immaculate, tailored to precision. Not a wrinkle out of place. Her hands rest gently in her lap, fingers interlocked, posture upright but not rigid. Years of media training are visible in every inch of her presence. The soft smile. The controlled breathing. The subtle nods. She looks ready. But readiness can be misleading. Because sometimes, the script changes. The countdown begins. 5, 4, 3. A red light flicks on. And just like that, the illusion begins. Meghan, thank you for being here today, Tamron says, her voice warm, smooth, welcoming. But there's something underneath it, something almost imperceptible. A firmness. A weight. Meghan smiles effortlessly. Thank you for having me. At first, everything feels exactly as expected. Safe. Predictable. The kind of opening that lulls viewers into comfort. A gentle introduction. A calm rhythm. But Tamron doesn't linger there. She leans forward slightly, just enough to signal a shift. I want to start with something you've spoken about quite a bit, privacy. A small pause. Not long. Just enough. Meghan nods, slipping seamlessly into familiar territory. Of course. Privacy is fundamental, especially when you have children. It becomes about protecting what matters most. Her tone is steady. Rehearsed, but convincing. This is her space. Her narrative. Or at least, it was. Tamron tilts her head slightly, her fingers brushing against her notes, though she doesn't look down at them. She doesn't need to. That's interesting, she says softly. Because while you've emphasized privacy, you've also engaged in very public ventures. Streaming deals. High-profile interviews. Media appearances. The words are gentle. But the meaning isn't. The first crack is microscopic. Almost invisible. Meghan's smile tightens, just slightly. Well, she replies, her voice measured, there's a difference between controlling your narrative and having it controlled for you. It's a good answer. A practiced answer. But Tamron doesn't move on. Instead, she leans in further. But isn't that wanting both, she asks, her tone sharpening just a fraction. Privacy when it's convenient, and publicity when it benefits you? The air changes. It's subtle. But it's real. Somewhere behind the cameras, a crew member shifts their weight. Another glances up from their monitor. There's a ripple, small, but noticeable. Meghan feels it too. Her posture adjusts. Not dramatically. Just enough. I wouldn't call it that, she says, her voice still calm, but now carrying a faint edge. I'd call it being intentional. Tamron repeats the word slowly. Intentional. She lets it sit there. Then, or strategic. A beat. A longer one this time. The kind of silence that stretches. And suddenly, this isn't a friendly interview anymore. This is something else. Meghan's fingers tighten slightly against each other. Her breathing shifts, barely noticeable unless you're looking for it. I think anyone in the public eye has to be thoughtful, she says. Tamron nods. Of course. But thoughtful and calculated aren't always the same thing. There it is. The line. Crossed. The atmosphere thickens, like the air itself has weight now. Even the lighting feels harsher somehow, casting sharper shadows across their faces. Tamron reaches for her notes, not because she needs them, but because she knows what the gesture does. It signals escalation. It tells everyone watching, we're going deeper. I've noticed something, she says. Meghan's eyes flicker. Just for a second. I'm listening. Tamron's voice lowers slightly, becoming more deliberate. In your past interviews, your accounts of certain events have changed. Silence. Heavy. Unavoidable. Meghan's smile fades, not completely, but enough. I'm not sure I understand, she replies carefully. Tamron doesn't blink. I think you do. The words land softly. But they hit hard. There's a shift now, not just in the conversation, but in the energy of the room. It's no longer an interview. It's a standoff. Meghan shifts in her seat, her composure still intact, but now it's active. Defensive. Working. Memory can be complex, she says. Especially when experiences are emotional. Tamron nods slowly. Memory can be. Another pause. But facts? She leans forward, locking eyes. Facts don't change. That's the moment. The exact moment everything tilts. Behind the cameras, someone exhales quietly. Meghan's jaw tightens. And for the first time, there's something real in her expression. Not polished. Not rehearsed. Real. Are you suggesting I haven't been truthful? She asks. Tamron doesn't hesitate. I'm suggesting there are inconsistencies. No softness now. No cushioning. Just clarity. The kind that cuts. Meghan leans back slightly, crossing one leg over the other, a subtle attempt to regain control. But her fingers tap once against her knee. A small tell. I stand by everything I've said. Tamron nods again. Then reaches beside her chair. And pulls out a folder. The movement is slow. Intentional. Cinematic. You can almost hear the shift in the room as it happens. Because now, this isn't just conversation. This is evidence. Good, Tamron says quietly. She opens the folder. Papers inside. Organized. Prepared. Then let's go through it together. The temperature in the room feels like it drops another degree. Meghan's eyes lock onto the folder. And, for the first time, there's hesitation. Real hesitation. Tamron glances down briefly, then back up. Let's start simple, she says. A beat. Your statements about preparation. Meghan inhales slowly. Controlled. Measured. I've always said I felt unprepared. Tamron's gaze sharpens. And yet, there are records indicating otherwise. Another pause. Longer this time. Heavy. The kind that fills every corner of the room. Meghan opens her mouth, then stops. Just for a second. And in that second, everything changes. Because the control she walked in with, it's slipping. Not gone. But slipping. And Tamron can see it. The studio is silent. The cameras are still rolling. And somewhere, deep beneath the surface of this polished, televised moment, a storm is forming. One that neither of them can stop now. Tamron closes the folder halfway. Not fully. Just enough to signal what's coming next. Her voice lowers. Almost a whisper. But that's just the beginning. She leans in. Eyes locked. Unmoving. Because the deeper we go, a pause. Deliberate. The more the story changes. Cut to black. The silence doesn't just linger, it tightens. Like a wire being pulled too far. The studio lights feel hotter now, even though nothing has changed. The same cameras. The same set. The same two chairs positioned just a few feet apart. But the atmosphere, no, the atmosphere is completely different. Because now, everyone knows. This is no longer an interview. This is a confrontation. Tamron Hall doesn't rush. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't need to. Control, real control, doesn't shout. It waits. It watches. And right now, she's watching everything. Across from her, Meghan Markle sits still, but not calm. Not anymore. Her posture is still upright, still composed on the surface, but there's tension now. Visible. Subtle cracks forming beneath the polish. Her fingers are no longer relaxed. They're clasped tighter. Her shoulders, just slightly elevated. Her breathing, a fraction faster. Tiny things. But in moments like this, tiny things speak loudest. Tamron tilts her head, the folder still resting lightly in her hands. Let's clear this up, she says. Her tone is softer again, but it's not kindness. It's precision. You've said you received no preparation, no guidance. A beat. But there are records, briefings, training sessions, scheduled meetings. Not rumors. Documented. She lets the word sit. Documented. It lands differently. Heavier. Meghan exhales slowly through her nose, forcing composure back into place. Palace sources, she replies, her voice measured but sharper now, aren't always reliable. Tamron nods. Fair. Another beat. But your own words. And just like that. The pressure increases. You've acknowledged guidance before, Tamron continues, her voice steady. Then later, denied it. The camera zooms ever so slightly, tightening the frame. Meghan's eyes flicker. There it is again. That moment. That hesitation. I think there's confusion around context, she says, choosing each word carefully, like stepping through a minefield. Tamron leans forward. No, she says quietly. There's no hesitation in her voice now. No confusion. A pause. Just contradiction. The word slices through the air. Clean. Direct. Unavoidable. Something shifts behind the cameras, someone adjusts their stance, another crew member glances at a monitor, eyes widening just slightly. Because this is the moment viewers feel through the screen. Meghan's composure tightens. I'm not contradicting myself, she says, a little faster now. I'm explaining a complex experience. Tamron doesn't blink. Then explain it. No escape in that sentence. No room to pivot. Just a demand. Explain it. Silence. For a second too long. Meghan opens her mouth, closes it. Then tries again. I've always been honest about my experiences. Tamron's lips pressed together briefly. Then, have you? 2 words. That's all it takes. The tension spikes. The kind of spike that makes everything feel sharper, the lights, the sound, even the air. Meghan shifts in her chair again, this time more noticeably. I don't appreciate the implication, she says. Tamron doesn't soften. I'm not implying. A beat. I'm asking. She lifts a single page from the folder. Different interviews. Different timelines. Different details. She places it back down slowly. Same story, different versions. That's when it hits. Not loudly. Not explosively. But deeply. Because now, it's not about one question. It's about a pattern. And Meghan knows it. Her jaw tightens. Her eyes narrow slightly. And for the first time, irritation isn't just flickering, it's visible. This feels like an attack, she says. Tamron leans back slightly. Calm. Controlled. No, she replies. This is accountability. The word lands heavier than anything before it. Accountability. It hangs in the air like a verdict. And something in Meghan snaps, just slightly. Her back straightens. Her chin lifts. I didn't come here for this. Tamron's expression doesn't change. You came here for questions. A pause. These are questions. And suddenly, there's nowhere left to hide. The room feels smaller now. Closer. Tighter. Meghan's fingers release from each other, only to grip the armrests instead. A shift from control, to containment. Tamron watches it happen in real time. And she presses further. Let's talk about your family. The shift is immediate. Sharp. Meghan's eyes flash. My family is private. Tamron doesn't hesitate. You've made it public. That lands. Hard. You've spoken about your father, extensively. In different ways. Meghan exhales sharply, frustration now breaking through. Because it's complicated. Tamron nods once. Then clarify it. Another trap. Another moment with no clean exit. In one interview, he's loving but flawed, Tamron continues. In another, manipulative. Untrustworthy. A beat. Which is it? Silence. Longer now. Heavier. Meghan's composure falters, just enough for everyone to see it. People evolve, she says finally. Tamron leans in again. Or narratives do. That's it. That's the line that breaks the surface. Meghan's restraint cracks. That's unfair, she snaps. Her voice rises. Not dramatically, but enough. Enough for the room to feel it. Enough for the cameras to catch it. Tamron doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't need to. What's unfair, she says calmly, is changing your story, and expecting no one to notice. That's when Meghan stands. Abruptly. The chair rolls back slightly, the sound echoing louder than it should in the tense silence. I'm not going to sit here and be attacked, she says. The words come fast now. Less polished. More real. Tamron doesn't move. Sit down. Firm. Direct. Authoritative. The kind of command that doesn't ask. It tells. For a moment. It could go either way. The room holds its breath. Even the crew. Even the cameras. Meghan hesitates. Standing there. Caught between leaving and losing. Her hands tighten at her sides. Her chest rises and falls once. Twice. Then, slowly, she sits back down. But everything has changed. Because now. The control is gone. And everyone can see it. Tamron nods slightly, as if confirming something only she understands. Good, she says. Her voice is almost gentle again. Almost. Let's continue. She opens the folder fully now. No more restraint. No more build-up. We've only just begun. The words settle like thunder on the horizon. Because what comes next isn't just uncomfortable. It's explosive. And as Meghan sits there, no longer composed, no longer fully in control, one thing becomes painfully clear: this interview isn't going to recover. It's going to unravel. Completely. Cut to black. The air feels different now. Not tense. Not heavy. But volatile. Like something is about to break, and everyone in the room knows it. The cameras are still rolling. The lights still burning. But whatever this was supposed to be, it's over. This is no longer television. This is fallout. Meghan Markle sits rigid in her chair, her composure no longer intact, only fragments of it remain. Her hands are clasped again, but tighter now, knuckles faintly pale. Her breathing is visible. Controlled, but strained. Across from her, Tamron Hall looks exactly the same as before. Calm. Still. Unshaken. And that contrast, it's everything. "Let's move forward," Tamron says quietly. No hesitation. No mercy in the pacing now. "Your financial statements." Meghan's head lifts slightly, alert. Defensive. "You've given different accounts," Tamron continues. Support, no support, being cut off, then later acknowledging assistance. A pause. Which is true? Meghan exhales sharply. "That's private." Tamron shakes her head slightly. "It wasn't private when you spoke about it publicly." Another direct hit. Meghan's control slips further. "It's more complex than that," she insists. Tamron leans in. "No," she says. "It isn't." The bluntness lands like a shockwave. "You either received support, or you didn't." Silence. Meghan's eyes dart, just briefly, toward the edge of the set. Looking for something. An out. There isn't one. "You're oversimplifying," she says, her voice thinner now. Tamron doesn't budge. "I'm clarifying." And then, the shift. The final one. "Let's talk about your allegations." The room freezes. Even the air feels still. Meghan's entire posture stiffens. "I don't want to revisit that," she says quickly. Tamron's gaze sharpens. "I know. A beat. But you will." There's no softness left now. None. "You made serious claims," Tamron continues. "Claims that affected real people. Real reputations." She leans forward, eyes locked. "Be specific." The word echoes. Specific. Meghan's composure fractures visibly now. "I've already addressed it," she says, her voice tight. Tamron doesn't blink. "No," she says. "You avoided it." The tension spikes instantly. "You allowed speculation," Tamron presses. "You made allegations, then stepped back." Meghan shakes her head, frustration boiling over. "I shared my truth." Tamron's expression changes for the first time. Just slightly. A flicker of disbelief. "Your truth," she repeats. Then, truth isn't subjective. The words hit harder than anything before. Because they don't just challenge her statements, they challenge her credibility. And that's the breaking point. "Of course it happened." Meghan snaps, her voice rising fully now. No control. No filter. "Do you think I would lie?" Tamron leans in slowly. Measured. Precise. "I don't know what to believe anymore." Silence. Absolute. Total. Because that sentence, it lands like a verdict. Meghan's face changes instantly. Shock. Real shock. "I can't believe you just said that," she whispers. Tamron doesn't flinch. "I can't believe I had to." And just like that. It's over. Not officially. Not yet. But emotionally. Completely. Meghan stands again. This time there's no hesitation. No pause. I'm done. Her voice shakes, but not with weakness. With anger. With humiliation. With something raw. This is a hit piece. Tamron stands too. For the first time. Matching her energy. No, she says sharply. This is journalism. The word cuts through everything. You wanted a platform, Tamron continues. What you got, was questions. Meghan turns, taking a step toward the edge of the set. But Tamron's voice stops her. Running away again. That line, that one line, pulls her back. Meghan spins around, eyes blazing. I'm not running from anything. Tamron steps forward slightly. Then answer. A beat. Just once. Silence. Meghan opens her mouth, and nothing comes out. Because there's nothing left to say that won't unravel something else. The cameras catch everything. The hesitation. The silence. The truth. And Tamron sees it. That's what I thought, she says quietly. Then she turns. Directly to camera. Professional. Composed. Like none of this touched her. This interview is over. The words land with finality. A door slamming shut. Meghan freezes. You can't, I can, Tamron cuts in. And then, the final blow. Security will escort you out. The room shifts instantly. Movement at the edges. Staff stepping forward. Not aggressive. But firm. Professional. Final. Meghan looks around, stunned. Humiliated. This is unbelievable, she says. Tamron doesn't respond. Not to her. Only to the moment. You had every opportunity, she says calmly. You chose not to take it. And that's it. Security steps closer. Not touching. Just guiding. And slowly. Reluctantly. Meghan turns. And walks. Every step echoing louder than it should. The cameras keep rolling. Because moments like this. You don't cut away. You capture them. She disappears off set. And just like that, silence. Tamron adjusts her jacket. Sits back down. Looks directly into the camera. Perfect composure restored. We'll be right back. Smooth. Controlled. Like none of this ever broke. But everyone knows it did. Because what just happened wasn't just an interview. It was a collision. Between control and accountability. Between narrative and scrutiny. And only one of them walked away standing. Cinematic OUTRO, YouTube CTA, and just like that, the illusion shattered. So now the question is yours, when celebrities step into the spotlight, should they control the narrative? Or should they answer for it? If this moment shocked you, if you felt the tension, the silence, the unraveling in real time, then don't forget to like the video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more stories where the cameras don't cut, and the truth doesn't stay hidden. Because the next story might be even bigger.